wacky one, but.
Was I inspiring him or was he inspiring me? How did that work?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Chicken or the egg?
So true. How did that work?
Well, I mean, do you see any of what you've done with what he's doing or no?
I see a lot of my influence in Snoop's work. It's very subtle. You have to really look hard. But you could tell he's been studying my whole oeuvre.
So would you imagine then, like, part of what he's doing in a way, maybe he's parodying culture in a way, like taking off from you and like your ideas? Like, is that what he's doing?
I think Snoop is kind of the Weird Al of hip-hop. Absolutely.
If you're going to say, like, honey, what's on the television, and that's the way you would use it, how would you think that Snoop would use the same words? I mean, like...
He would probably say, biatch, what's on the television. I wouldn't go there, though.
So you're a little nicer.
I'm nice. I'm much nicer than that.
Yeah. You're sweeter to your wife. You treat her right.
Yes.
You would hope. Are there any other things that are kind of like floating around that you'd like to do parodies of that you haven't exactly tackled just yet? Things that you're kind of wondering, how would you frame that, and they're still kind of in the development stage for you, or perhaps like a UHF sequel or anything else that you're like trying to figure out what would be the next step beyond this record?
I'd love to do a UHF 3 because everybody's expecting UHF 2, and you know, I try not to do the obvious. So I'd like to skip the sequel and go to the sequel. Unfortunately, nobody's interested in that. So
why not?
I'm just too far ahead of my time. That's been a curse my whole life.
But if Snoop gets it.
If Snoop wanted to be in it, though, we could greenlight that baby in a second.
The other thing I wanted to ask you before we move off the whole Snoop thing, just because they're like, they're like putting together this whole thing, and since he's the Weird Al of hip hop, you know, we wanted to make sure that you weighed in.
We're doing this all for the Snoop special? All right.
Yes. Part of it is. Yes.
Okay.
Because I mean, we got the language down, but you know, then there's the image.
Yes.
You know how he recently quit smoking pot.
Yes.
Do you think that that's helped his image somewhat? You know, makes him less gangsta? Is that a good thing? You know, more for the kids, positive role model.
I think it's good that Snoop quit smoking pot because he's more of a role image now for the kids. It's good that he's just concentrating on hip-hop music and hardcore porn.
And television parodies. But the hardcore porn, then, you know, that's not something you would be venturing in as well, then taking a cue back.
I don't make mine public, you know.
Okay.
Hold on one second, you guys stepped on each other a little bit there.
Oh.
If you want that
No,
comment.
that was more of
Okay. Just
Unless
making sure.
you really want to do some hardcore porn, I mean, you can tell the world
I'm
now.
sorry I'm married, sorry.
I'm just letting you
Okay.
know. You stepped on each other. That's it.
Okay.
If
All
you
right.
wanted that fight, I'm saying, where he says, I keep mine private. Let's move on.
Moving on.
Judge, I'm going to stay in the back.
Yeah.
When you would use that.
Yeah, that was. I wanted to also ask you a lot of food questions, since because you seem to derive so many of your songs from food and television. We'll get back to the television in a second. I wanted to kind of delve into the, you know, what is it about the food that's like inspiring you so much?
I don't write quite so many songs about food as I used to, like back in the 80s. I kind of moved on from that because so many people are like, you know, do you just write songs about food? So, you know, it's still very inspirational to me because I do eat food every day, and it's part of what keeps me alive, and I feel very, you know, very affected by food that way. So it's, you know, when I write a song about food, I feel like I'm paying it back for the years of sustenance that it's given me. But you know, I've tried to kind of move on. I have a whole album of songs about food called the Food Album, which is like a compilation my record company did years back. So that was the point I kind of thought, maybe I shouldn't write so many songs about food.
Well, we're doing the show that's kind of a takeoff of like music and food, though. And since you're the preeminent songologist about food,
I'm the food song guy.
Yes. It's called Eat Me, the show.
Okay.
Wasn't it
Do I get
in-
royalties from that?
Oh, you're not?
Yeah, we told her to do that.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because it was like a whole test thing. I was like, yeah. We told
Oh,
her
I
to
just
do
thought
that,
it would be so cute, though. Drats.
Okay.
She's... even if it's like related to one of the songs? No.
Next.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No food questions.
Okay,
You.
then.
You don't get to eat. No food
All right.
coming in. Nothing. No food. Then television would have been the other thing.
Can I talk about television?
We
Okay.
don't have a show about television. It's just he has a lot of stuff about television, including the single.
Okay.
Couch Potato finds you surfing through a lot of different shows, but I'm wondering what you actually watch yourself versus like what you're like, some of the things that you're mentioning in the song could just be because it rhymes well or
Right.
it's the zeitgeist. But what do you actually watch?
I'm a big fan of The Simpsons. I was thrilled to actually be on the show for the first time this season. That was really great. I'm a big fan of like a lot of late night TV shows, Saturday Night Live. I like one camera comedies like Malcolm in the Middle. My favorite thing to do is just watch either static or test signal because that's very zen. I can just watch that for hours and kind of become one with the universe.
I mean, like when, like late night, you fall asleep and you wake up and there's no show on whatsoever anymore. And it's
like after the infomercials are over and it's just like, that's pretty trippy.
And you get a lot of inspiration from that too. Or it's like kind of a zoning out.
It kind of clears my mind. It's like those video fish tanks, just really relaxing. The static is even better because there's like nothing going on. Or you like try to follow one of the little dots and they kind of follow it as it's going around the screen. That's pretty cool.
Your wife, she doesn't mind this at all? The constant white noise?
I do it when she's asleep. She doesn't know about it.
Okay. But tell me a bit about The Simpsons then, when you were on The Simpsons.
It was so cool to be on The Simpsons. It's probably my all-time favorite show, and it was such an amazing experience to be sitting in a recording studio and you're doing lines with Homer, who is sitting right next to you. It's just mind-blowing. It's so cool. It's the best writing on TV.
Did it blow your mind that Bart's actually a girl?
I knew that. I knew about that, but it's still bizarre to hear that voice coming out of Nancy Cartwright's mouth.
So, any plans to do anything like that in the future? Would you ever want to do other animated shows or other TV shows or?
I've done a few other animated shows. I've been on the Brack Show and the Adventures of Grim and Mandy, or something like that. I'm sorry, the Adventures of Lilo and Stitch, stuff like that.
Is it on Lilo and Stitch?
I don't think it's even out yet. It's a series that's coming out on Disney. I wasn't in the movie. They're doing like an animated series, and I think that's coming out sometime next season. I'm not even, in animation you have to do it like a year in advance because it takes them a while to do everything frame by frame. But yeah, I'm totally open to other TV projects and animation. I love doing animation. Yeah.
Who would you be in Lilo and Stitch? What character are you doing?
It's just a one-off thing. I played a wandering minstrel at some kind of Renaissance fair, so I got to bust my minstrel chops.
And those are things that you just kind of had on standby, like you're.
Yeah, I took a few minstrel courses in college, just in case I'd ever need to use it, and it came in handy.
That and
Because you never know.
underwater
Yeah.
If we can't do the food stuff, were there other things that did you go over?
No. We just did an interview, but is there summer stuff you need to ask?
Yeah, there was some others, other specials and stuff. I just wanted to make sure.
Like what, movie stuff?
Like the Hulk and stuff.
You like the Hulk?
Sure.
It was more
No,
about comic books, because,
Okay.
I'll give it a shot. Use it or not.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you had kind of, since part of this is also if you're watching a lot of TV and presumably reading a lot and maybe paying attention to what's going out there in the culture zeitgeist. It seems like there's so many more movies being made out of comic books these days than ever before. I mean, beyond the standard Batman, Spider-Man type stuff. I mean, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Hellblazer, John Constantine, Preacher, things that are kind of a little more bubbling underground than usual. I didn't know if you were fans of any of those, read any of those, aware of any of those.
It amazes me when a movie comes out that's not based on a comic book. I spent an hour looking for the Hours comics, and they didn't make any. It was bizarre. I am a comic book fan. Whenever I'm on the road, I like to, pop into comic book stores, at whatever city that I'm in, and it amazes me how many hundreds and hundreds of different comic books there are on the racks. that a lot of which I'd never heard of before. It's just it surprises me that they can maintain a business. I guess there's not a whole lot of overhead, but it's I've been a comic book fan for a lot of years. Mad Magazine has always been my favorite. I grew up on Mad Magazine, and it partly inspired me to do what I do because there's song parodies in the magazine, and it had that irreverent sense of humor, which as a 12-year-old really appealed to me. I think at a certain age, your brain starts secreting some kind of liquid into your bloodstream that makes you really appreciate that kind of humor, and that definitely had an effect on me.
So besides Mad Magazine, were there any others that were your personal favorites, or anything that you collected, or?
Mad was really the only thing I collected. I would scour used magazine stores to try to find back issues and things like that. Although I appreciated, basically any kind of comic book.
Cool. Why is it, do you think, that there's so many movies that are being based on comic books? Do you think they're just severely lacking in ideas, original ideas for plots, or?
Yes, I think they're severely lacking in ideas. Well, the comic book is a graphic novel of sorts. I mean, the movie is already storyboarded, and I think executives can look at a comic book and go, "Oh, the movie's going to look like this. Okay, go make it." And I think people can relate to comic books. It's a lot of them are franchises. There's a built-in audience for a lot of these comic book characters, and therefore it's more of a guarantee of a blockbuster if you do a movie based on a character that people are familiar with, as opposed to trying to build a franchise from scratch.
Are there any in particular, any of these movies that are being made out of comic books that you're looking forward to seeing, or that you're, besides the hours?
I'm very much looking forward to the Fantastic Four movie being made because my friend Peyton Reed is probably going to be directing it. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, and by the way, if you want to look up the hours one, I think it's called Mrs. Dalloway.
Is that a comic book?
Not really. You can read it with the idea that it is.
Did they make Mrs. Dalloway comics? Okay, I'll look for that.
Because there's this whole Virginia Woolf subset.
Yeah.
Comic book industry, it's crazy. Were there? We talked about 50, but do you want to just because you're a nice guy, do you want to send 50 Cent a birthday greeting because he's having his 27th birthday and hopefully he won't be shot again?
Okay, should I do it to camera?
Damn.
Well, you don't have to say because hopefully he won't be shot
Okay.
again.
Yeah, to camera.
Okay. Hey 50, it's your homie Weird Al Yankovic. I just wanted to wish you and yours a very happy birthday. Mad props, my friend.
That was sweet. That was sweet. There's another one for kind of like that for word launching MTV Portugal.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know, do you, I don't presume that you would speak Portuguese, but if you want to say, Hola MTV Portugal, or, something like, hi, I just wanted to wish MTV Portugal all the best, or something
Yeah.
that's kind of for their launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stand by.
So anything that would be in your own words.
Okay. Hola, MTV Portugal. I want to wish you all the best Sorry, try again. So is it best success on your launch, or?
Or all the best, a big welcome, whatever, anything you want to say.
Okay. Hola, MTV Portugal. It's Weird Al Yankovic. I want to wish you good luck in your launch, all the best, much success, and ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Is that something about libraries?
Where is the library?
Okay. Don't speak Spanish. No sé. No comprende. That was cute.
Oh.
I wish I had more of those, because then they would do them so well. How are we on time? I think that okay. Yeah.
I mean, do you have anything else to ask, or?
Well, those were the main things, but I from the time clock I had in my head, I thought we were at the hour.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
just
we're
wanted
good.
to
We're
make
good.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, good. Well,
unless there was anything else that you want me to ask you that I didn't, that you wanted to clear the air about.
yeah, I don't know.
Just,
Oh, well, okay. Well, Chach.
That's how you use it.
I'm sorry, you can't be
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Joe, your second interview was Ken's.
I'm gonna call Joe.
We'll leave everything up then.